Skyline filled with stars, gazed upon the past. Trials, triumphs, and failures, and all ring of the piano keys dancing ever so gently with the pigs too brilliant. What else could be for the everlasting pressing forward? Closer to the middle for the muddle for the hamstring, or nature of your servitude. Society for the nice, enough to leave your lunch upon the floor, for the trash is closer to the door. Walk through the way to the shore. Before I dip the feet to float off the sea, reminisce on it, and my voice shall fall. My rise to fall again for the rise again, find it played out 100 times in the same lines and ever the same place. Pines, black fires of the windowsill, echoing faintly over your back. This place paper over your paper, this stack, this smiles, this shade for the need. The place you start to be the practice something radical, but you suppose it's a passage for the return, for the calling to action. Words can hurt, words can heal, for to bring the peace, this some pain speak, and this final lip. Complicated for the words to mean nothing and something and everything. Same time for the free will, for the do you remember to come from. Came from the dream or the tremor for the night to be the strange fright. And I've been praised more than once in the ability to express the emotion through the words that are picked up purposely for the place and the order for your procession. Precisely. The truth is only good on paper for the not to be to put them in the spot. For this, the hands turn to trembling over the voice that gets shaky enough. This always lose the train of thought for ever to know that every line I find stages mine alone for this to be exactly when to start for the practice or the weeks and this is start to show. You hear the cue for the freezing, but then it goes this time again for to finally get it right. For this, the words before. The preparation for the opposite practices still manage to choke. Test of love to stand in the midst of thousands of hands and the voices calling near. For the press of the gifts of this to be the brighter days. Display the laughter loud enough that the presence is clear. Amongst the grander songs that rise up around you, for the always heard the test, this perhaps the pain for the loss. For love someone through the crowd amongst that, for the surrounding and the seek you embrace, adorn, and while to still stand for the voice unsound, for the challenging and for the hard secret to ache. To the heart for the not let it go, for the claiming of the time, for the feeling to stay, for this not to know, they know how and why the poetry has the broken thought, for the broken ideas and misplaced inspiration. It was a question. It was the words trembled in my brain, anxiously waiting to be put together for the such an order for the meaning. And the purpose made for the simple vocabulary, for the head is blank, for the till the pen scratches the paper. The thoughts flood into the stream after the storm, for the first line is most difficult and enough for the remainder to come to follow. It's comforting to see the ink fill the page to the blank. Space turning into wondrous thoughts. This final plane glides across the page of the sense of success. This is books that are written in the ink, and this is words and imagination for the thoughts and ideas that have the meaning until you express. But the paper, written others for the ear to read. This through handwriting for the better slopping, for the narrow, the running faster through the hands of the staring. At the blank page, it doesn't have meaning. Something more than a thought. Desolated for the music seems to be a constant thing, and over returning the days of the blending together as the days get cold, old, fine, found, feel still. To define what's real. Inspiration more to read. Expecting you calling for the new imagination over the amazing visualization for your memory over the final verses. Since the previous list always called. Questions of life and this about the death, whatever you created. Death similar to the nothingness before birth. This is something completely different for the conscious change. You cannot remember your own birth. This knowledge of the life of others. To recall the death, this is impossible. To fade back into the nothing after realizing your existence. This is due to mind go. The knowledge on the ground for the mantling of a piece. There's a reset for the born to live, learn again, from the descent to heaven over the watching down through the muffling of the view for the spinning. Time thinking the curiosity for the anticipation for the clear answer, for the belief and the hope and the just to wish. The proof, the last proof, this one, the foundation for the stand up to, no matter what the battle, their hands are shaking, you are ready. Tired of fighting for whoever you are, for the moments in the silence of the fountain piece of the shining through the glow of your face, dissipating remorse over the Sunday and sitting in darkness. With a flawless enough to Solomon talk, meet a song to be spiced over the occasion, for anyone to be further perfect for your persuasion. And the motive for the love for this to be universally given, Talk to me after the spice of the lullaby for the reason for the ice is still too cool to heart for the others to be in the season for the this to be the know the reason. Valor for the army, for the side of death, for the teacher, for the love that never hides. They cool to fun for the way to pay the play to pay the pay. After waiting for the season and not to be the core. Or B-boy still. Let go to hold the memories for the representation of the moments in life for the way to go. Past, positive or negative. Pushing to the ash and taken out of sight, for let it go, to move forward, for the memories no longer needed, for the vision of the mind, for to take the time to need to be forgotten, for the physical representation of the healing and the sight, for that has come to pass in the severe events, fade for the mind. No use looking at time, life passes by, the day with hope for the uncertain, for the hard to cope with the heart. Skyline filled with stars, gazed upon the past. Trials, triumphs, and failures, and all ringing the piano keys, dancing ever so gently with the pigs and brilliance. And what else could be for the everlasting pressing forward? Closer to the middle for the muddle for the hamstring, or nature of servitude. Society for the nice, enough to leave your lunch upon the floor, for the trash is closer to the door. Walk through the way to the shore. Before I dip the feet to float off the sea, reminisce on it, and my voice shall fall. My rise to fall again for the rise again. Find the played out 100 times at the same lines and for the same place. Pines, black flies at the windowsill, echoing faintly over your back. Displaced paper over your paper. This stack just smiles a shade for the neath. The glory of the redwood for the watch the wheels turn to rolling true. Guiding for the heart further from the field with the nature beauty and your falling rocks and flying cars. And what universe is there without the Mars? For psychotic sick trigger the pulling mill twist. Incident for the inselling of the cheese smell. Eyes creep shut. Shut they do draw. Palace of the past and the free fall for the time that withdrew. Withdraw deck back to the hall for the every quick to the ruin that all the ruins are. Street gospel and the sharp like husky blade, strip shirt, or deal with well played, cuff crown shining in a rooftop dome, carrying the wisdom of 1,000-year poem. You can be negative or not perfect, but as you are, people can't appreciate that. Like a rainbow with never painted scars, never the thing. Because they never drove the car for flying. We are apart from break me down so you can have the time apart. Or the feeling whether you're not with me. Or when I'm gone, could be grown tired of the stories of the blame for the foolish heart. Because you do not miss. That would be set apart. To miss the mark. How sinful. For the closure to finally answer, it was too late. Not with love or the scraps that could translate. Waited in silence in the beg for the truth, and all we got back was the bitter excuse. Want to close it, but somehow half-baked show for the cracked apology, dressed up to glow for see you down, empty depths of your name, for the shadows that hide for the weight.
Guardian, angel, amongst demons, guiding, light, flicker, halos around your neck, keep you tethered, whether you forgot, cry, been heard. Time to rise in vibrations that beckons us to remember your chains are broken. Just look up. You are not without the demon by your side. You are tethered for the potent. With the best days that slipped away. Silence dawned, but it didn't know. Call the bitter for the call them small, and now I see for the rest, best of all, for stranger is life and the slightest ways of the hiding the truths and the ordinary days of the life and the beauty duty for the threads and bind. The 10, it's mine, the fragility and weary face that's struggling into the work. In a hard place of age, this gentle roughness in the hands of the unused, this unstrengthened, this unmake the plans, this what was easy to now is slow. Once plenty fades to low, but deeper to seal the wound to keep the love unvoiced, this foul too deep. Incognito with the heart for the burn for me, for walk down the shades of the shadows silently for the name to call the place to claim. And no open fire for this to be the helicopters that fly by like secret flames that went to win and never knew. Or how I was lost and much was true for the disparity. Sits, contemplate, God is scattered wrong with the right, for the fields, for the dark, for the full of life, for the cannot say, for the no now, for the must be peaceful and go, for the time for the king, for the strongest power to steal the sun, for the dim to flower, for the now it takes again, for this the breath, for this the last, amen, for the now the time, for the be the faith, for the every season, the every late. Walk in peace, nothing stays, grateful for the life and through the best where it's days. Sometimes shed that tear with might crept into the back door, with a monster within the rhyming, with the murky pond for the dew. Be there for the undisturbed, windy flare. When the lost lives divide, for this will be the left, for the rubble, for the mockery, the shame, for the what is hope. Amongst the crowd, for the silence you never heard, for the quiet corners of where you stirred, for the always be in distance on. Rose and down and drowned it all for the glance. It was soft for the fleeting scene, sign and fine. Broken and never mind for the taking. Standing in the haze, it'll feel like theft. This once can't see for the soul and peace. This belonged to me for the jewels and not gold that the crave. The simple attention for the heart for the once gave. You cannot know amidst the crowd, find this where you must go for remain outside to set apart for the holy with the aching and unclaimed heart. Letter to your heart of the dreamers, and you have that what is for you, for the will be the reaching, and the dares to the concern for the dreams and the undreams, that you find quotes and carefully get enough for the higher power for the lies to be assumed. Beg through the threads and be cut short. Carefully quoted dictionary, your knives and voice that's what's the argument for the words to carry the blood for this to be seen. The coast of memory for the wind whistling over the door balcony for this to be the blanket still shade of your orange under the moon. Pull back in for the noble feeling and intense anger for the body for the never seen before, for your own sanctuary, for the place that you can create, for the breathing, the pause, and something appears. Softness that was hiding in front of the ruins, and I came from something. Or sometimes it feels like a barrage of a trip that kept me stagnant, other times it had to run. Run fast enough to was that only light for the final. Darkness drawing near for the feeling of the shift, for the warm pulse, and the something that felt belonging to the safety. I could be home. Who I am, who I want, and I'm here. All I ever wanted to be was enough. I bled to it, guessed through. It was covered in footsteps of the echo from sounds, replay memories, and muffled behind the rest. Like a white skyline filled with stars, felt smaller and thinner, rather refined and less defined for the something that screams and heard for the outside of the skyline filled with stars. Time to pass by for the glass of the corridor for this to be the destiny. Skyline filled with stars, sensitized by the conscience. Given for the silent mind. Skyline take for the peaceful thought. For the high for the bump of your own. Skyline filled to get some. Think or someone on the phone. You find what's the coast to call besides mine. Say skyline filled with stars. The line for the need to be shown. Skyline filled with stars, gazed upon the past. Trials, triumphs, and failures, and all ringing the piano keys dancing ever so gently with the pigs to brilliance. Skyline filled with stars, gazed upon the past. Trials, triumphs, and failures, and all ringing the piano keys dancing ever so gently with the pigs to brilliance. What else could be for the everlasting present for? Closer to the middle for the muddle for the hamstring, or nature of your servitude. Society for the knives, enough to leave your lunch upon the floor for the trash closer to the door. Or walk through the way to the shore. Before I dip the feet to float off the sea, reminisce on it, my voice shall fall. My rise and fall again for the rise again, find the laid out on the turn, the same rise. Black flies in the wind on the sea. Echoing faintly over your back, displaced paper over your paper, this stack just smiles a shade for the knee. The glory of the redwood for the watch the wheels turn the road true. Guiding for the heart further for the field with the nature beauty in your falling rocks and flying cars, and what universe is there without the Mars? Psychotic sick trigger to pull the no twist. Incident for the inselling into the cheese smell. Ice cream shut they do draw. Palace of the past and the free fall for the time that withdraw that back to the hall for the every quick to the ruin and all the ruins are.
Street gospel, sharp like hustler blade, strip shirt, deal with well played, cuff crown shining in a rooftop dome, carrying the wisdom of 1,000-year poem. You be negative, not perfect, but as you are, people can't appreciate that. Like a rainbow with never painted scars, never painted, because it never drove the car to fly. When you're apart, for break me down so you can have time apart. Or the feeling when you're not with me. But when I'm gone, grown tired of the stories and the blame for the foolish heart, because you do not miss it. That would be set apart. You missed the mark. I'm sinful. With the closure to finally answer, it's too late. Not with love and the scraps that can translate. Waited in silence in the beg for the truth, and all we got back was a bitter excuse. Wanna close it, but somehow half-baked show. The cracked apology dressed up the globe. To see you now, empty depths of your name, for the shadow to hide from the weight of the shame. Got closure, but wanted a sharp gleam for the cutting through the lies and work you have been that far. No more of your hope. Walk away free for the rest of the stories told, for the good, for the stronger you ever know, for the fire in the veins. Where you left me low, voices of the ghost. The face just blurred, chapter across that erased, just not to interfere for the something you used to know, for the dead flame to smothered whenever there's sparking the glow. Feel your game, rise for the ashes while you drown in your shame. God's grace is between the broken places or something. Feels like it can't be fixed like the glass that shattered. Sharp, too dangerous to return for the what it was once, but see the beauty in the scatter, for the pieces in the hands not wasted for the Hebrew shapes. And back to the old form, but to something greater, for the something new and something unique, and that's grace, guess. The broken pieces, 5 words yet to hold the world to be. To feel broken, to call on its name, but to hear you meet you there for the butcher of grace, where the grace is needed most. This to be the broken places. Always, guardian, angel, amongst demons, guiding, light, flicker, halos around your neck, keep you tethered, whether forgotten, cries, been heard, time to rise, vibration, beckons us to remember your chains and broken, just look up. Tether, always, guardian, angel, monks, demons, guiding, light, flicker, halos around your neck, keep you tethered, whether you've forgotten, cries, been heard, time to rise, vibration, beckons us to remember your chains are broken, just look up. You are not without the demon by your side, you are tethered for the hope. Bad stage slipped away. The silence dawned, but it didn't know. Called them bitter, they called them small, and now I see the rest. Best of all, betrayed of his life, the slides, ways, and hiding the jewels, and the ordinary days of life. Fragile body, you will reface this struggling into the work. In a hard place in age, this gentle roughness, the hands of unused, this unstrengthened, this unmaking plans, this works in the language slowly.
Start to be able to practice something radical, you suppose. It's a passage for the return for the call into action. Words can't hurt, words can't heal, but bring the peace, this sun pain speak, this final live. Complicated for words to be nothing but something in everything. Same time for the free will, for the people who remember to come from. Came from the dream, trouble from the light to be the strange friend. And I've been praised more than once in the ability to express the emotions of the words that picked up purposely and placed in order for your procession. Precisely. The truth is on a little paper, but not to be the put up the spot. Because the hands that turn to triple, with a voice that begins to shake me enough. This always leaves the train of thought from you. Be exactly when you start from the crash until the weeks of this start to show. You get a key for the freezing, but then it goes. There's a time again for finally get it right. That's the words we feel. Preparation for the hours that practice and still manage to choke. In the test of love, stand the list of thousands of hands and voices calling dear. The precedent gives it the brighter day. Displayed it loud and loud enough, the presence is still on. Monstrous grand the songs arise around you. Always heard the test, this perhaps the pain from the assault. The love's of one, the crowd that longs after the surrounding and the secret. Embrace the dawn and rod still stand for the voice unsound from the challenging, but hard to secret the aim. Still the heart for the not let it go, for the claiming of the time and the feeling to stay for this not to know they know now. Why the poetry has the broken thought for the broken ideas and misplaced inspiration. It was a question. It was the words jumbled in my brain, anxiously waiting to be put together for such an order for me. The purpose made for the simple vocabulary, for the head is blank, for the tip of the pen scratches the paper. The thoughts flood into the stream after the storm, for the first line is most difficult with nothing but the remainder to come to follow. It's comforting to see the ink fill the page and play. Space turning into one's thoughts, this find a plane glides across the page and sense of success. This is close to the breaking the aim of this emotion, imagination for the thoughts and ideas that have beginning into the expression. I've written others for the ear to read, this for handwriting for the better stopping for the narrow, running faster through the hands of the stand. The blank page that doesn't have to be something more than a thought. Desolated for the music seems to be a constant theme, and over the turning the days of the blending together as the days get cold, fine, found still. To define what's real, the inspiration board to read, expecting you calling for the new imagination, amazing visualization for your memory of the final verses. This questions of life and this about death, whatever you create. Death similar to the nothingness before birth. This is something completely different from the conscious change. You cannot remember your own birth. This knowledge of the life of the others. Recall the death. This is impossible. Fade back into the nothing after realizing your existence. This is do the mind go. Knowledge on the ground for the main mantling of the peace. There's a reset for the born to live, learn again. There's a sense of heaven over the watching down through the lifting of the view for the spin. Time thinking the curiosity for the anticipation for your clear answer, for the belief and the hope and the just to wish. And the proof, the last proof, this I want to know. The foundation for the stand up to, no matter what the battle, their hands are shaking, you are ready. Tired of fighting for whoever you are, for the moments of the silence of the fountain piece of the shining through the glow of your face. This the pain of remorse that over the Sunday and sitting in dark. With a flawless enough to Solomon taught me the song to be spicing over the occasion. And anyone could be further perfect for your persuasion. And the motive for the love is this to be universally given. Taught to me after the spice of the lullaby for the reason for the ice is still too cool, the heart for the others to demand the seasons for the this to be the know the reason. And the valor for the army for the side of that for the teacher for the love that never hides. And the cool do from the pay to pay path the waiting for the season and not to be the coy. I'm a b-boy still. And let go to hold the memories for the representation of the moments in life for the way to hold. Past, positive or negative. Push into the ash and taken out of sight for let it go to move forward for the memories no longer needed for the vision and for the mind for to take the time to need to be forgotten for the physical representation of the healing and the sight for the has come to pass of the severe events fade for the mind. No use in looking at time. Life passes by the day with hope for the uncertain for the hard to cope with the heart.